everybody. Can you all hear me clearly? And can you see my screen?
Yes, Kavita, we could see your screen.
Okay, great. So thanks, Sam, for the introduction. So today's the first session. We will do a curtain raiser on SAP ERP. So basically, we would try to understand what is ERP and how it evolves and what are we going to learn, what is its future, and where we stand as SAP FI consultants. Right? So this is FI 000 course module, and this is about me. And Sam has already given an introduction about me, and I would just. Sorry, is there any question?
No, Kavita, somebody did not mute. Now go ahead.
Okay. So just to add to it, I would like to say that I have done 4 end-to-end implementations in India for manufacturing, real estate sectors in the pharma side also, and then I have done overseas assignments and rollouts, and the recent one was the project in central finance on S/4HANA. So those are the areas that I have covered, and I have an experience of around total of around 16 years, out of which around 12 years and so is in SAP. Okay, so some of you may be working, or some of you may be working on some other ERP. And to just give an introduction of what is SAP ERP, or even before that, what is ERP, what does ERP stand for, and how SAP evolved, like how have they, what is their product development journey. We will take a quick snap of that to understand what SAP is doing and what we are trying to learn. And then introduction to all other modules in FICO, because those of you who are doing the FI course, I'm sure you must have heard that there are other modules also like MM, PP, SD, QM, and then you would be wondering like what these modules are and how they're related to FICO, and how much we want to know about other modules and how much we do not really care. So let's go through that. So what is enterprise resource planning? So it is enterprise, resource, and planning. So what is enterprise? It is a business entity. Any business entity, you can call that as enterprise, right? And resources for any business entity is what? You have men, machine, material, money, and all those things are resources for that business entity or the enterprise. And so basically, and then comes planning. So planning means planning your resources for the business organization total using a software is known as enterprise resource planning. It is a business process management software, and it is used to collect, store, manage, and interpret data from various business functions. So in any organization, you will know that there are various departments and various business functions that are happening. Like you would have HR department, you have purchase department, you have admin department, you have finance department. All of these departments, then they all have data, they all have to store and manage the data, they all need to interpret the data. The financial implication of all these departments needs to be booked into the finance department. So basically, when we collect, store, and manage and interpret data from all these various business functions, we really need a software to do that. And ERP helps us exactly with that. So an ERP is usually a suite of integrated applications where each application caters to a business function and is capable of talking to other applications. See, the word integrated over here is very, very important when we talk about SAP. SAP stands itself out because of the integration with other applications. And that is where SAP ERP becomes an undisputed leader in the market because it has beautiful integration with all other applications and it can talk to other applications, other business functions of the organization. And that is why ERP is usually a suite of integrated applications where each application caters to a business function. Like you would have an application for HR, you would have an application for purchase, you would have an application for FI, and all these applications or business functions are capable of talking to other applications. When you say capable of talking to other applications means what? If someone is doing something and that has a financial implication, then those entries or those expenses would reflect in your FI also, right? So that is what basically ERP does. Okay. And an ERP system helps to ensure an integrated view of business processes for better and efficient management of the enterprise resources. So that's exactly what ERP helps us to do, that it gives you an integrated view. See, just imagine if you have the purchase department separate and you have a finance department separate and they don't, and the two are not linked with any application or software. Then what happens? Any purchases or any inventory that is getting built up in that application that needs to be copied to finance department also, because finance really needs to process the invoices of those purchases. And then every time it's a manual effort to go or even log into that other application and then again come back to the finance application to book the invoices or book the vendor liability, etc. So if the two applications are not integrated, it creates a whole lot of duplication in the work. Whereas with any ERP which is integrated with other business functions or applications, any purchases that you make in the purchase department can easily be reflected in the finance department, and you do not need to really bother the other department to get the details, or you do not need to log into other system each and every time you want to see something related to purchases, etc. Right, so that is how ERP helps us. So in one point, we can say that it helps to ensure an integrated view of business processes for better and efficient management of the enterprise resources. Now, the same thing that we said now. Right. So why enterprise resource planning? So we have already discussed it in brief in the previous slide, but here if you see around ERP, in the left hand side we have ERP system and on the right hand side we have non-ERP system. So in the ERP system, around ERP, if you can see, you have various functions.
Sorry, then you're not moving the slide. We are not seeing the slide move.
Which slide are you seeing, Sam? Because I am in a Y Enterprise Resource Planning.
You're seeing only the first slide.
Is it?
Yeah.
Now has it changed?
No, it doesn't change yet.
Okay, then I will stop sharing and I will share again.
Okay.
Do you see it now?
Not yet. It's coming. Yeah, it's clear. Maybe you might want to go one by one just to say highlights of each slide. That would help.
Sorry, I was just on the previous slide. I completed this.
No, we were in the first slide. We never saw the second slide or the third or fourth.
Okay. So we discussed about this slide, right? What is enterprise resource planning? Now I'm moving on to the second slide, which is why enterprise resource planning. So on the left-hand side, you see the ERP system, what happens with ERP system and what happens with non-ERP system. Around this ERP system, you can see that these are various business functions. Financial management, SCM stands for supply chain management, where you manage your vendors. Customer relationship management, where you manage your customers. Human resource management, where you process the payrolls and keep records of the employee and etc. And MRP is materials requirement planning. So all of these functions are, you can see, are well integrated with ERP, right? So any financial impact or anything that is happening in each of these business functions, because it is well connected or integrated with the ERP system, here anyone can see any information if they're authorized to, right? So this is the beauty of the ERP system, that it is integrated well with all the business functions of the organization, and it is very easy to operate for the management to take strategic decisions without any delay in the decision in the data collection. So this really helps the management to take quick and easy decisions. Whereas if you take the non-ERP system, you will see that there are various business functions and they are all scattered. Maybe for FI, say you are using one software. For CRM, you would be using something else. For SCM, something else. And then they need to, each of them, they need to provide information to each other every time. So you see how much duplication of work is there in case the modus operandi is like this, right? And not only this, when we move further in our subsequent slides, you will see that the benefits and the benefits of the ERP system, you will see that how this helps us.
Kavita,
Okay.
the students want to see the previous slides. They saw the first and now the fifth. If you could just show the second, third, and fourth, it would be helpful.
Okay. Is this, see, I will just go to the first one, right?
Oh, man.
This was my first
Just
slide.
they want to see what I know that it's your profile there, but still, if you can go second, third, and fourth, it would help.
Okay, so this was the first one. Then comes my profile. And then
There's something wrong. It's not moving. It's still staying in slide fifth one.
Can you see now?
Yeah, this is the third one. Move to the next one.
I'm on curtain raiser slide now.
Yeah, you're in the third, right?
Yeah, I'm on the first slide now, curtain raiser.
Now, maybe why not you do a slideshow? That might help. It's not moving.
Yeah,
it's static.
I'm in slideshow only, Sam. Okay. Let me try it again. Somehow sharing of screen is getting stopped. So that's what I can see. Now, which slide can you see, Sam?
I'm seeing slide 3, and it's not in the slideshow right now. It is just in the edit mode.
Actually, I'm in slideshow. Slide 3. Now, if I change, which slide are you seeing now?
It's stuck in the third. It's not even moving.
Yeah, the slides change.
Yeah, now it's in the, we are seeing the content, what is and why
Okay.
ERP. Just move to the next one.
And do you see it in the slideshow?
Yeah, now we are seeing in the slideshow.
Okay. So this is the next slide.
Okay, now it's animating. Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
Okay. So any questions on this slide? Because I have already gone through this one. So hope this is fine. So, and this is the next slide that we were just now discussing. Is it moving, Sam?
Yeah, it's moving.
Okay, perfect. So, and then we were here talking about the benefits of ERP system. Let's see what are the benefits of ERP system and why would anyone go for SAP ERP system. The first thing, I think it is quite clear till now with what we discussed, that integration is one aspect which really puts SAP like as undisputed leader when it is compared to all the other ERP functionalities. So it is integration across functions. Second is no duplication. This also we discussed that if there are different applications or softwares for different functions, then you really need to duplicate your job so many times. There are people need to give answers, they need to provide data for the same work, which is possible for all the departments to see if they're integrated well. Otherwise, every time you have to go to the departments, get the information, collect the data, interpret the data, and all those things. Next is reduce TCO. So does anyone know what is TCO? It is total cost of ownership. So for any organization, if you have if if you have multiple applications or softwares, imagine the amount of effort and resources needed to train them, to maintain those systems, to deal with different kind of different vendors, and then to, to train all their employees in different applications. So each employee who is dealing with other departments, they also need to know some of the basics of those systems. So all these things, yeah, can you all go on mute, please? There's a lot of background noise. Okay. So when we say reduce TCO for an organization also, it becomes very easy and to train their employees and to maintain their systems, and that leads to reduced total cost of ownership. So the amount of effort and money invested also reduces for the organization. Next is scalability. ERP systems, as you see today, are used by most of the Fortune 500 companies, SAP ERP, and the reason, one reason is that it is scalable. It is capable to grow with the growth of the business. Like if the business is growing, the SAP ERP system is quite capable of helping you in that growth because even the system is scalable. From one continent, if you go to different continents, from one geography, if you go to different geography, all these things are possible in the ERP system. If you take any local software or anything, you can never even think of that it will be scalable to this extent that you can actually maintain records for the organization who is present in multiple geographies. For example, say Apple as a company, they are present in almost all the continents, in all the geographies, and imagine if they have to operate, they really need a strong and robust system. Companies like Mars, companies like Kraft Foods, etc. They really need a very strong and a robust ERP system which can help them to grow and operate in different geographies and continents. So better CRM, you can have good customer relationship management and supplier relationship management, and improve data security, of course, because it also comes in with its own features where you can have good amount of data security, authorization controls, etc. So these are the benefits of ERP system, why any organization would go for or look for an ERP system for its system maintenance. Okay, so now we will go to evolution of ERP. But before that, I just want to take a pause to see if there are any questions, or are we good with the pace? No questions? Good enough. So now let us take a look at the evolution of ERP. What happened and what made us look for something like ERP? Uh, so in the year 1960s, there was nothing called ERP. There were only few inventory control packages, and most of the data handling was done manually, but you had inventory control packages that were introduced in the year 1960s. So only inventory was managed in the system. Everything was done more or less manually. In 1970s, apart from inventory control packages, there was something called material requirement planning. So that was introduced. So material requirement planning is basically when you have something, when you have a sales forecast, like if you know that this is my demand, and these many units of the finished products I'm selling every month, then you can basically plan your production, you can plan your requirements of the material, because you know what goes into make that finished product, and you can basically use a system to see how much material you need, and you can run a material requirements planning. So in 1970s, that was a big innovation where the material requirement planning could be done from the system. Similarly, in 1918, they come up with advanced version of MRP2, which is again manufacturing resource planning. Manufacturing basically now it goes to the level of the shop floor, where you can plan your different operations, and in each operation what would you need, and what resources you will need in terms of machine, raw material, labor, etc. Then in 1990s was introduced enterprise resource planning. So basically, the introduction of ERP as such was in the year of 1990. And then in year 2000, it was extended ERP, which is collaboration with different functions, that what kept on getting introduced, right? So this was the evolution of ERP systems. Now let us see what are the key ERP packages that are available in the market today. So SAP, we all know, and we are discussing about that. There's Oracle e-business suite, then Oracle PeopleSoft, you have JD Edwards, you have Microsoft Dynamics, you have BAN, you have Tally. But despite all these ERP, I think SAP is one that is still the undisputed market leader. So there's no other software which can compare with the way SAP has evolved itself, with the market share and everything. It is still the undisputed market leader, and even though there are various ERP packages available in the market, SAP, you would see most of the Fortune 500 companies are using, and many industries, many verticals are running on SAP. Now let us take a look at some famous companies that run on SAP. So you can take a look. These are all big names, and all of these are running on SAP. Daimler Chrysler, Deutsche Bank, Pfizer, Honda, Nestle, Siemens, all these companies are running on SAP. Right? Now let us take a look at some key SAP customers in different industries. So if you see, this is a slide to show you the different verticals or different industries who are using SAP. So this one, if you see, this is the banking industry. So in banking industry, you will see Deutsche Bank and the Bank of Ireland. This is just an example. There are many more. So they are using SAP. In retail industry, you have the Body Shop, the Tesco. They're all using SAP. In the industry, you have ThyssenKrupp, you have Bayer, And then in telecommunications, Vodafone is there, Deutsche Telekom is there. In consumer goods, you have all these companies. In automotive industry, you have Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, and Rolls-Royce. They're all using SAP. And in the automotive industry, you have again you have media, transport and logistics, and high tech. So they're all using SAP. And not only this, SAP has something which is generic, which any organization can adopt. But then if you see, there are industries like oil industries, so they have some specific requirements. So SAP has even caters to them because they have industry specific solution for such companies. So examples are retail, you have utility, you have power, you have oil. So for all these different organizations which have specific requirements to run their operations, SAP even has IS solutions for them, which is known as industry specific solution for those industries. So one which we will be learning is generic, where you know that what are the finance functions and how they're handled. But if anyone is working in retail and all, they have specific, SAP has specific retail solutions also. Like for retail, they really need to have different requirements to maintain the shelf life of the products and then warehouse management and all those things. So, like even the materials, the way we want to maintain it and all those things, they become very specific. So, according to the requirement of these industries, SAP has developed or enhanced the screens to record those things in the system and also given solutions to map those processes which can help these industries. Okay. So these are some of the companies in India that run on SAP. So in different sectors like oil and gas, EMC, auto, CTV, telecom, and IT services. Now let us take a look at the history of SAP, because we saw evolution of ERP in general for all the different ERP packages. Now let us take a look at the history of SAP, how SAP has evolved. So SAP was founded in 1972 by 5 former IBM employees as Systems Analysis and Programming. So earlier, full form of SAP was Systems Analysis and Programming, and it was founded by 5 former IBM employees, and it was founded in the year 1972. And it was later renamed as Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. Okay, that is how where the name stands as SAP. But important thing to note today is that SAP in itself is a brand name now, and it is no longer an abbreviation. So there is no full form for SAP. It is a name of the company. It is no longer an abbreviation. And various versions of SAP have evolved as below over a period of time. Just at the time of introduction, Sam was mentioning about S/4HANA also, that this is the basic classic course that we are taking, and SAP has come up with S/4HANA. So there we come with the versions. So SAP. Sorry, is there any question? Okay. So as Sam was mentioning about S/4HANA, so that is also one of the evolution of SAP. So we will see it as we see the SAP versions. So in 1972, since SAP was founded, so SAP came up with SAP R1. So that was in the year 1972. Then in 1979, SAP R/2 came, which was released for mainframe computers. That was in 1979. In 1992, again, SAP came up with R3, which is released as a client-server application. And in 1996, SAP R3 came, which became partially internet-enabled. So can you see, till 1972 to 1992, it was not internet-enabled, but in 1996, it became partially internet-enabled. And by 2003, key SAP R3 versions were 4.5, 4.6C, and 4.7. And in 2004, there came a major evolution in the SAP's architecture, where they came up with My SAP ERP 2004 ECC 5.0. and this gave a transition to service-oriented architecture or new general ledger. So this new GL is something. This is again a different course where we learn all about new GL, because here from this version to this version, SAP has done a major change in its structure, in its tables, and the way it operates. So for this, there's a different course altogether, or in the advanced course also, you get to know about the new general ledger. Okay, so in 2005, SAP came up with, again, with My SAP ERP 2005 ECC6, and again from 2005 to 2006 until date, SAP keeps coming up with enhancement packages. It is enhancement package EHP 7 is already released, but latest one in the market is EHP 8, which was a recent one. Okay, and after that, we are in the year 2016 now. So in 2011, SAP had come up with HANA database. So it was not full-fledged S4 HANA, which we see today, but it only came up as HANA database, which was used as a sidecar approach for accelerating, because HANA as a database, it speeds up the time of data processing. So any report that you execute in all these systems, which takes huge time because of the amount of data, in HANA, it can be within fraction of seconds, or it can be very, very quick. Right? So in 2016, now from 2011, with only HANA as a database, because for all these SAP ERP, you have Oracle as a database. But in 2011, SAP came up with HANA as a database to speed up the processing, and that was used by many organizations, and they were used as accelerators for the reporting requirements. But from 2011 to 2016, SAP is working very hard, and they have come up with a lot of solutions in the area of S4HANA. And that is the reason why they said that until and unless you understand this, the basic, the classic view of what SAP is, and you don't understand the structure and all, directly going into S4HANA will be, course will be difficult, because S4HANA is something which talks about the delta, that is, what changes are made by SAP in S4HANA. So unless we know this, it is difficult to understand the delta changes that we talk about in the S4HANA course, right? And the next is, today SAP serves more than 282,000 customers across 190 countries. Right? So this is the strength of SAP across the globe. Now, let us take a look at various SAP modules. As I was mentioning in the beginning, that there are different SAP modules other than FICO. So today we are talking about the FI module, but let us try to understand what other modules are there and why do we need them. So we all know that there are various business functions in any organization, and those business functions are like purchasing and logistics, selling, manufacturing, finance and accounts, human resources, quality control, maintenance, etc. So in order to have all these business functions run properly, you need some kind of data management, data interpretation, etc. Right? So what SAP has given is that the ERP software as such is one, but to cater to all these business functions, they have given one SAP module for each of these business functions. Like you would have heard the name of MM module, which is Materials Management module, and for Materials Management, module basically caters to the business functions of purchasing and logistics. So what is its purpose? The purpose is procurement and inventory management, right? Similarly, for selling, you have SD module, which is known as Sales and Distribution module, and the purpose of it is to maintain sales of goods and services in the organization. Similarly, you have PP module, which is Production and Planning module, and it helps to maintain the business function of manufacturing. So basically, the purpose is to handle the MRP runs, that is Materials Requirement Planning, Scheduling, and Production. So basically, it takes care of the activities on the shop floor. So to see that what kind of production is to be done and how the production orders are to be created, settled, etc. So everything is done in the PP module. Now comes the finance module, which we all know. For finance and accounts, there are two modules. One is finance and one is controlling. Now, what does finance do and what is controlling do? Finance, which we will be learning, is basically for external reporting. External meaning statutory reporting, and controlling is something where where the data is used for internal reporting of the MIS purpose. So basically, in controlling, the reporting is used by management to take strategic decisions, and whereas finance, we prepare P&L account, balance sheet, etc. for external reporting, which you would need various kinds of reports to submit to your for your statutory reporting requirement. Like you will have auditors, you have some other legal authorities where you need to submit data for tax return filing, etc. So for that, your FI module will come handy, from wherein you can generate reports. But for controlling, it is mainly used by management to take strategic decisions. Like, for example, you have profitability reports generated from controlling, which will give you an insight, like which product is functioning which way, which product is more profitable in which region, or which customer is more profitable. So there are different kind of information. Basically, the information which you get in finance can be further sliced and diced into controlling to get more meaningful information and to take strategic decisions based on that. Okay. So similarly, when we go to the business function of human resources, there's a SAP module called HCM, Human Capital Management. So for timekeeping, for salary processing, etc., this module is used. Similarly, we have QM module, which is known as Quality Management module. So to ensure the quality of goods procured and produced, you have to support the business function of quality control, you can handle all those in the QM module. And the plant maintenance module, wherein you have maintenance and upkeep of various assets in the plant. You have machines, you have different kinds of assets in any organization. So for maintenance and upkeep of all those machines and assets, you need a PM module, which helps the business function of maintenance, right? So I think by now you have a fair idea that why SAP gives different modules and why do we need them. Just imagine if it was not only SAP ERP, you would be looking for in the market a different kind of software for each of these business functions. And if there are different applications or different softwares for each of these functions, then imagine all those vendors, the negotiation with all those vendors, the maintenance contract with all those vendors, and it will increase the job many folds for any organization to maintain and sustain its systems, and then upgrade of these systems, and handling errors, and then a support team, and etc. for all of these systems. Rather, SAP gives you one common platform where all these modules can sit and they can function on the SAP ERP. Right? Interesting? So now we will try to understand that as FICO consultants, where do we stand compared to all these modules? So finance and controlling module lies at the center of SAP ERP design, which interacts with various other business functions to capture the inflow and outflow of cash or equivalents. Now, FICO is one module which stands at the center, or which lies at the center. What does it mean? Because FI is something wherein any kind of financial impact that you have in any module, they need to be reflected in FI, right? So now, if you see, what PP is doing may not be related to HR, right? Correct? But FICO, they need to know from PP also if there are variances while the confirmation of orders and all, they need to flow. if this department, exchange department, is processing salary, the expenses need to flow in FICO. For plant and maintenance, if there's any depreciation or if any maintenance expenses incurred, they need to flow in SAP FICO. If sales and distribution module, they have incurred some sale, the sale needs to be registered in FICO. If MM department is doing some purchases, they need to be reflected in FICO. So similarly, any kind of financial impact that you have in any other module, they need to be reflected in FICO. Correct? So being FICO, I would say we have this edge that we have the information about all the other modules and we are quite connected. And that is why you see the demand in the market for FICO is the highest. Because everywhere you will see there's a lack of good consultants in the market. And if you're a good consultant, you will have really good demand in the market for FICO. Because since any ERP implementation that is going on, you would see they can do without QM, they can do without PM, they can do without PP, but without FICO they cannot do. FI is something which every project or every SAP implementation or every SAP support would need, because ultimately everything has to flow to FI. Right, so that is where you stand. I just wanted to give you a picture of that being an FICO consultant, what is the demand in the market? FI module is oriented towards external reporting, that is publishing the financial statements to various authorities, and CO module is oriented towards internal reporting, that is product cost sheets, product profitability, etc. So this I have already explained. So I think by now you have got a good idea of where do you stand, what you want to learn, and what is SAP ERP. So that was all from my side. And if you have any questions, kindly let me know. And okay, one more thing that I want to add is FI. When we talk about FI as a module, then but there are various submodules under FI, because even under FI you have things like general ledger, you have accounts payable, you have accounts receivable, you have cash accounting, you have bank accounting. Then after reporting or accounting for all these things, you really need to do a financial close. So there's another topic which is known as financial close. So all these topics will be covered under FI. Right? So I'm open for questions if any.
Princess, come here, the thing is too powerful.
Yeah, I think Gopi needs to ask the question. Yeah, Gopi, please. Sure.
Go to the bed.
Gopi, can you ask your question?
Yes.
Go ahead. Gopi? Can you type your question? No, we can't hear you.
We cannot hear you. Gopi, you can type your question. That is also fine.
Okay, anybody else have a question?
Shubha, as I told you that this was just a brief introduction about what is SAP as a starting session. But as we progress, there are different submodules like GL, AP, AR, cash, bank. So it is not only general ledger, but all other submodules will also be discussed. Yes, Gopi, for HANA, earlier SAP came up with something called Simple Finance. Later on, they changed the name to S4 HANA Finance. And for logistics, similarly, they changed it to S4 HANA Logistics. So there's a new version for HANA for every application. That's all right.
Hello.
Okay, Dave has a question that do we need to learn other modules also? See, every module you have different consultants. So we as finance, we will be learning FI. Similarly, people who learn NN are different because people who have financial background, they learn FI module and CO module. So FI and CO is something that the finance people can learn, but other modules, NN, SD, you just need to have fair idea about all, which you get to know when you are on the job. So since as I told you, it is well integrated with all other modules, you will learn something about other modules also, because even in our course, we'll talk about integration with other modules and how they talk to different ones. But you don't need to learn MM or SD in detail. What we need to learn as FI and CEO consultant is we need to learn complete FI. If you don't have finance background, see, first is you need to understand the basics of finance, because here we will be, see, you don't need any SAP background, because that is what we are doing, right? We will be learning it from scratch. So you don't need any SAP background, but when you talk about finance, I would always suggest that you can learn it, but since we will be dealing with the basics of finance, like debits, credits, everything. So in order to understand that clearly, it will always help if you can take up a good crash course in finance. It is always available online, and you can quickly. It's a very quick course of. It's not a course. You can get some idea about the finance. What are the fundamentals about finance, the debits, credits, the golden rule of finance, so that you understand it. Because see here, basically what we deal is, ultimate goal is to prepare a P&L and a balance sheet account, right? So uh, with that, it comes some amount of financial knowledge that what goes into where, what can be shown in balance sheet, what can be shown in P&L. So those are something which are basic financial knowledge. So that will always help if you do some amount of reading. Any other question? Sugar, US GAAP is some amount of is the legality, like what kind of rules are there in US GAAP. So here we will be understanding how the SAP system can be designed, and then based on your understanding of US GAAP, or if there is a requirement from client, you can map those requirements in the system, right? So here you do not need to know or understand US GAAP in advance. Basically, not only US GAAP, when you are working in SAP, you can work for any client across the globe, right? So there it will be client who would be giving the requirements, and those requirements you should know how to map it in the system. It can be US GAAP, it can be IFRS, it can be UK GAAP. So basically, there will be the difference in the treatment of how different items are treated in different GAPs. So once you know the SAP system, you can easily map it, whether it is US GAAP or UK GAAP. So not that it is mandatory to know US GAAP before you learn SAP. It's not like that. Sorry, Peter, what is your question? Where is the screen? If any one of you have any questions, see, I think I have done justice to you all by showing that where SAP stands and where you can look yourself to be, because SAP has huge demand in the market, and where you can see yourself, right? Because and what you're learning. If there's a question, getting trained in latest version, will it help to resolve old version issues? Oh yes, because see, when you know once if you are into SAP, see, SAP is an ocean, let me tell you. No one can claim that they know SAP in and out. So what we are doing in this course is that we are building up a foundation. The foundation is that with which you can even go to S/4HANA, or you can go to previous versions also. That is why it is important to know the fundamental design of the SAP FI module. Once you know the design and the structure, how it is built, and what all modules are there, the exploration becomes easy. So whether it is the old version issues or the new versions, it will be easy for you to navigate and explore yourself. Okay, Gopi says, do we have access to all other applications besides FICO once we sign on to the SAP session? So Gopi, basically the way it works is, when you sign into SAP, let me see if I can show you the SAP navigation. SAP navigation is a topic in itself. But I just want to show you how SAP looks like. So this is how your SAP screen looks like. So I just enter, giving my user ID and password, and this is where they come. Now coming to Gopi's question, whether we have access to all other modules, let me answer that. So when you enter, you have everything over here. You have HR, you have accounting, you have logistics. Under logistics, you have MM, SD, production, QM, product systems, everything. But not that we will be learning about all these things, right? So if you talk about access, yes, you can navigate to all these modules, because if you want to go to purchasing, and if you want to open any purchase order, system will not stop you, right? Because I click and then I go to the transaction code. So access you have, like this is a standard view, but we will not be using this. We will be basically focusing on our finance. So this is what I mean by we will be getting access, of course, but what we need to do is focus on FI. No, this course is only for FI. CO is not covered in this. Because CO in itself is a very vast course, and CO you cannot learn before you learn FI, because CO is more, a bit complicated in terms that you have product costing over there, how you can do the costing of a product, and how you can generate profitability analysis, that is FOPA. So it is not easy for anyone who does not have any overview to FI to learn CO. So it is always advisable to learn FI first and then go to CO. Because in CO, the basics will not be taught, like what is company code and what is company, how do you set up a company code, and all these things will not be taught in the CO module. CO, it is started in a different phase. So it is always important to learn FI first and then do CO. Sorry, I'm not clear on this question. Can you reframe your question? Okay, if you mean to say that for S4HANA, you need only FI, yes, because as FI consultant, even for S4HANA, you would know FI. Yeah, definitely, with FI you will get jobs. See, everything you learn on the job. But to get entry, you need something. FI is something, if you know, you can always look for jobs. And on the job, you can learn everything. As I told you, FI needs to interact with every module. So not only CO or any other module, you will need to interact with project systems or MM module, SD module, PP module, CO module. So all these things, then it becomes a journey. See, it is preparing you, it is giving you a foundation, benchmark, an entry point wherein you can enter into the SAP world. But then it's a very, very long journey. You keep learning every day when you're on the job. But for job, yes. If you know FI, you can always apply. What profiles can we get? So Shubha, what exactly is your question? What kind of job you will get, right? Okay. So to answer that question, let me explain you a bit that in SAP there are two things. One is SAP support and another is implementation. Implementation is something which is known as greenfield. Whereas, what happens is, imagine if some organization who is not using SAP but now wants to start using SAP. In that case, what happens is that is an implementation project, because you will be implementing SAP for that organization who is not on SAP but on some other software, or they're using some legacy system. So that is an implementation job. Another is SAP support, wherein some organization is already on SAP, and to support their day-to-day operations or activities, you will be in a support job. So two kinds of jobs you can expect: support or implementation. So as you know, it was introduced in 1972 until date 2016. Many of the companies are already on SAP, as you just saw in the slides. But of course, implementation projects are there, but compared to implementation, the support roles are a lot many. So either you can get into the support role or the implementation role as applicated. Ruby, I do not know about the mic issue because I can hear Sam very clearly, but I was not able to hear you, and the rest of them also chose to write on the chat window. So I do not know if this issue is with everyone or only with you.
Kavita, I think most of them are done with their question. Um, students, we would communicate the next session through Nandu. And anything else, Kavita, you want to add right now?
No, from my side, I'm done, Sam, because I think I wanted to give them a fair idea of what they're entering into, what kind of future they can look for, and how SAP is going to help them. So basically, evolution of SAP and where we are now, what they're learning compared to other modules, and I think they have a fair idea about that.
Okay. Yes, this is an overview, and from next section onwards, it will be in depth into the SAP finance, and you will be learning more in detail about how to configure and other stuff in finance. So this is just an introductory session. So hope everybody understood what is SAP Finance, how it fits in SAP, ERP, and other modules. And we will get in touch with you. We'll send a request for the next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.